Chemistry Room Fragrances is the perfect addition when elevating the vibe of any space. Whether if it's your home, car, or office, and something needs a quick refresh, our room fragrances provide that beautiful burst of fragrance with just one quick mist. Shop now at www.chemistryroomfragrances.com and be sure to follow us on Instagram at Chemistry Room Fragrances. Chemistry Room Fragrances. Smells so good. Hey JaiTee, what's going on? Can't hear you. No.
There we go. Mute. There we go. There we go.
Hey, what's going on?
What's up? What's up? What's up? How you
How you
doing?
doing? It's so good. I'm tongue tied. So good to have you back. How's everything been going?
Everything's going well. I'm sharing right now on my Instagram so the people that are following me can come on, but I'm good. I'm good. I'm excited to be here. Excited you brought me back on to chat it up
Yes,
and just keep the conversation going.
for sure. And as of to date, you are still my highest rated live. You're still holding the number one seat.
holding the
That
number one
episode had
seat.
like 1.2 thousand views, something like
Come
that, something crazy.
on. People wanted to
Yeah,
hear us.
you
What were we
had the
talking
highest.
about that
It
day?
was it was called Solar System. I'll never forget it. And that was
Uh,
during the pandemic because you were in the office that had the windows with the glass behind you.
oh my God, yes, I'm not even there anymore. Yeah, that was a minute ago. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, but yeah, you still king of the live for the speaker
Come
podcast.
on, come on. Nobody's well. You know, I want somebody to take that reign because that means more people are watching. So
Challenge.
somebody's going to upset me this year. That's what we're going to believe. That's what
Well,
we're going to
you heard it here, people. The challenge is out there, but as of right now,
believe.
JT, it's been like 2.5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, two and a half.
Well, it was
2020.
one we had. Yeah, since that. Yeah, you're right.
It'll
Wow.
be 3 years this summer.
Wow. Yep, because we're in 2023. This time
Crown
frame
you,
is just
crown
throwing
you.
me up. Come on. Next time you do bring me on, I'm gonna have a crown. I'm gonna have a crown, and we're gonna pass it to whoever succeeded me. That's what we're gonna do.
I shall wear a crown.
God, but wait, I'm still here. My crown will be worn on earth.
Don't.
Huh?
Yeah. Let me stop
Listen.
playing. What's up, everybody? It's your girl Camille Essex, host of the Speaker Podcast. This is the podcast where innovators and creators connect. Be sure to follow me on Instagram at Camille.Essig. And I'm also on YouTube at Camille Essig Official. I do
Come
have my
on.
Good Black Men merch that is available. And we're now online. We have our website up and going. And you can follow us there at Good Black Men Official. And there and also online at gbofficial.com. Get all their merchandise. We have t-shirts, tumblers, coffee mugs, journals, sweatshirts, t-shirts, and hoodies.
Come
So
on.
I thought about doing a snapback, and I was like, I don't know. So just a thought, messing around with it. I'm not sure if I'm going to actually do it, but it's been on my mind. But
Hmm.
yeah, and oh, my Amazon store for all my ladies, all my goody girl items are there, as well as my digital store on Etsy. So I'm trying to take
Ah.
over the digital space. Okay,
Listen, if you ain't got something, people, and you're watching, shame on you.
you know.
Shame on you.
So those that are not familiar with the king of the Speaker Podcast Live. Let the people know who you are and what you do.
What's up, people? So my name is JT. I am a brand manager for my company, Just Raw Creatives, and we provide brand strategy, design, social media production, and coming this year, events to startup small businesses and corporate America. We also provide the same services for churches.
Okay.
That has been something that I've been a little slow on because I've been doing it for years. It's just, churches are different than corporate America. So I had to, have to put my mindset in a
Are they
great
really?
place. Uh-huh.
Mm,
And well, here's what I've said. I've said that corporate America and churches are one and the same, except churches don't throw people away. Corporate
mm,
America will let you go and ready to pull someone in. But for the working and the mission of the church, I feel that they don't and shouldn't throw anyone away. If you're not working in a position, how can
mm.
we repurpose you? How can we put you somewhere that's going to give you your best self and allow your gifts to succeed? So, but it is a little different because if you've grown up in church and you're helping the church, you always have to make sure your heart does not get so sucked in that you're not
Yeah.
putting boundaries around yourself
Yeah.
to be used, not by God, but being used by people. So you have to, manage that
Yeah.
process.
And I totally get that. I'm a PK and I've seen that most of my friends, if not all of them, are ministers, first ladies, and musicians. Um, and we've had those conversations offline as far as particularly with my friends that are musicians,
Mm-hmm.
their feelings as far as their gift in terms of music. And that's a whole conversation, which maybe we'll have another show about that.
Mm-hmm.
But I totally
Did you hear what I
understand.
said? You gonna be
Huh?
a first lady?
So, and what I also wanted to say, not to hop off into the church conversation,
Mm-hmm.
but I think one of the things I love most about the church is you have the opportunity, unlike corporate America, you have the chance to try a little bit of everything until you find your niche.
Mm-hmm.
Whether if you are in the production area and then you find out,
Mm-hmm.
maybe that's not it, or you can try the music department, or if you sing or play, that's not it. Maybe your gift is behind the scenes in administration or
Yeah.
something with community service, but there's a room for grace for you to find your space. And maybe your space is intercession,
Yeah.
where
Yeah. Yeah.
you're really that behind the scenes person, but you're just
Mm-hmm.
as important as someone that does play or sing. But I do love the fact that in the realm of the body of Christ, there's a room to maneuver. Or if we're great at multiple things, then you have the opportunity to be a jack of all trades.
Yeah.
Versus
Yeah.
in corporate America, it's like this is what you do this, and if you play outside the box, then it's kind of looked upon like, just like when I was in the military, I
Mm-hmm.
was a paralegal for JAG, but then when I started getting into other things, I started drawing attention to myself, and it was kind of like, hey, Essex, like, do you really want to be here? But yet, what I was doing outside of the uniform had nothing to do with my 9 to 5, but it
Mm-hmm.
became a threat because I'm to them I wasn't mission first when
Yeah.
that wasn't the case. So I totally get
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a growing space, and the one thing that I had to learn growing up, as I started building and watching that, doing everything like you said is great. You get to experience, but the goal
it.
is to identify what's your superpower in those things that you've identified,
Yeah.
and being okay to minimize to one thing. Because while I can do everything, I only get strength when I really identify that one. And
Hmm.
once I can understand that one, then I'm able to expand and, what I'm saying, branch out to those other things that I may found joy in. And I think a
Hmm.
lot of people don't think of it that way. They just want to, in church, we want to be a servant. We want to give our gifts. Great.
Yeah.
But ask yourself, which one is really one that's really lighting me up, that I can really do well, that I can really be consistent and disciplined in? Focus on that, because that person inside of us that needs to be reformed and matured is ready to be there in that space. So
Hmm.
that's the thing I had to learn is, while I'm doing this, what's that one thing that can keep me to be disciplined and consistent? Because there's a
Yeah.
side of me that I need to bring out, and it'll help me do that. So
That's good. And also once you air quotes, and I won't say you master the gift, but you kind of find your rhythm in it,
yep.
it then other doors will open, but you have to show
Mm-hmm.
your consistency and faithfulness to that. What's that saying? being faithful over small things and being ruled
Mm-hmm.
over great. So it's just like you have to really say, okay, let me do this, stick to it, and discover myself in this space. And once you begin to master that, that one thing can also unlock other gifts and talents within you
Yes.
as well. It's
Yes.
almost like a tree. And that's why I wanted to have this conversation because it still ties into branding. And
Mm-hmm.
because we come from a church background, we always use this as our point of reference for
Mm-hmm.
those that are listening or watching. And and the reason why I bring this up is because now we're trickling into the impact of messaging, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
you are a brand manager, your
Mm-hmm.
brother, for those who don't know, he does the backpack on TikTok. It has gone viral, and so when we're looking at the impact of messaging, what do you say to people that are looking for a viral moment versus being authentic to their core self or their brands?
um So one of the things that I'll use my brother for example,
Okay.
and he checked me because I remember when he Nick has been viral a couple of times before this whole shift
Mm.
happened to where you really can say he is a known social media influencer. And I
Yeah.
remember the day that he really started posting that video about going into the store, putting the whole door situation, and I remember him telling me, okay, now I'm getting ready to post another video. Well, if I would have really consulted him that day, my consultation would have been horrible because his mind was, if they're loving it and they want to see it, do it again, do it
Hmm.
again, do it again. I'm gonna do some more videos. I'm gonna do some more videos. So he just started putting videos out there, putting video, and the more he kept putting videos out there in that vein, the more people kept seeing it, recognizing it, and they started, what I'm saying, trending from
Hmm.
there. And that's when I started seeing the thing go viral. So, in my thinking was, okay, if it's something that is working and people are loving it, keep giving it to them. But our mentality is we're stuck on the couple of people that we do know that may say, "Oh, I'm tired of it. Oh, I constantly keep seeing you. Oh, I'm tired of posting the same videos over and over. I know they're tired of seeing me. Well, if they're
Hmm.
tired of seeing you, that means you need to go to another area of people that haven't seen you. So
Right.
the more you keep posting, the more you will be able to be in the space that you didn't think you would ever reach, all because you kept growing into that. So when it comes to people, they talk about being viral and being authentic. I always push for you to be authentic because the one thing about my brother that people think it wasn't overnight success, it wasn't. Nick
Hmm.
had been doing this for 3, 4 years before that one moment hit, but he
Hmm.
never stopped. And in that, he was true to what he presented. If you go to some of his old stuff years ago, it's still funny. It's still in
Hmm.
connection. But the thing was, when he found that one thing that blended everything together, it became his authentic self. So if you're trying to go viral, I mean, I'm not going to, stop your drive and your push, but there's going to come a point to where you're going to look for longevity. And I really haven't seen people really succeed long by being fake.
Right.
If you want consistency, if you want longevity, if you really want to be something that people will consistently connect to, then you really need to be authentic and show the people who you really are. Because, truth being told, not only will your reach grow, you will find people that will want to connect with you and stay connected because
Hmm.
they saw a part of who they are and who you are. So, if you're being fake and you're just trying to throw something out there, that's fine. Those people probably won't be consistent. They probably are just in there for that moment. But the ones that you want your ride or dies, they ride or die when they can find something authentic in you that reflects to who they are. And when they can see themselves in you, they want to stay connected to you.
And that's the power of connection through having your brand and your voice in messaging. And one of the things I like about you, hey Whitney, what's up, sis?
Wait, wait,
Uh,
wait, wait.
both of us, we've sat down with you before, and I like the way you handled us because it wasn't like we were just sitting down for consultation for a brand. You talked to us out of a different how can I say, out of another time because it was like, yes, we were here physically sitting down talking with you at that moment. However, you were talking to us as you saw us down the road and you were pulling and extracting so much out of us because I think a lot of creatives, we kind of look at things um here. We don't we see far like envision, but what a what about the distance of that vision? It's just like for example, I wear contacts. I'm nearsighted,
Mm-hmm.
so I can see things at some point. But if it gets too far off, I can see it, but it's blurry. And so
Mm-hmm.
where you come in, the things that are far away that are blurry, you bring it into greater focus. And that's
Mm-hmm.
one of the things I love about you the most is how, yes, we can see, but you know how to fine tune, and you show us how to focus so we can see the vision further than just a year out or
Mm-hmm.
2 years
Mm-hmm.
out. Because
And I
go ahead.
keep going.
I was just saying because it's just so your components of how your mind works. I think that's very powerful as a brand consultant and manager.
And one of the things I learned that made what I do is helping a person get clarity.
Hmm.
Because even what we were talking about with the church and working in giftings, when you identify what works for you, you have to hold to that and not allow anybody else to try to veer you off to what they think is best for you. And if then the best way to do that is to be clear about what it is that you're good at.
Hmm.
Finding that one thing that you are strong at, that you're good at, it can be placed in multiple places. When you think about Steve Harvey had a radio show. Steve Harvey hosts a Family Feud. I think Steve Harvey at the time I was thinking about this analogy. He was also the sit-down host for Kids Say the Darndest Things. He was
Yeah.
also somebody who had movies, who did books, and then he was doing something else. I think he
He's
was had
done
his own
every
talk show.
pageant, Miss America, Miss USA, Miss Universe.
Everything.
Like,
And guess what? In that, Steve had one thing consistent. He was the same person in
mhm,
every different arena. He was being funny. And when I thought about that, even though it may be a different type of industry, he was that one person of being funny. He took his funny and he took it to radio. He took his funny and he took it to television shows. He took his funny and he took it to now hosting Family Feud and then putting it into books, then putting it into movies. He was the same person. If
mhm.
you don't identify with who you are and you get clarity with what your superpower is, it will be hard to go into these multiple arenas. We mess up because we try to be in the multiple arenas, not being sure of who we are.
Or
So
being a
when people
different person
show,
for each arena.
correct. So how can people be consistent with us and we're not even consistently ourselves?
Mm,
What does that come from? And I think so many people want to, as you just said, want to be viral. They want to get out there, but they don't want to build that consistency. There are 4 C's really that I teach on.
mhm.
And is if you get clarity, you will then build the confidence. And from that confidence, you'll build consistency. And when you be consistent, you'll then build your community. If you all of those things come into play, but if you're not get clarity, you're not clear about who you are and what you can do and build that consistency in there, it's going to be hard for people to want to trust you. They want to be able to use you. You got to be consistent. And
Yeah.
I'm sorry, we want things that are quick. And when I think about sometimes I used to watch some of these, and I'm no shade to them, but
Right.
I used to see these people that were, I want to be a millionaire overnight. So join my masterclass. You want to know how to get this growth, join this, join that. And I'm like, that's great. But here's the question I had to ask myself. Baby, if I can't even manage the 1,000 that I'm doing right now, why am I
Right.
trying to get to a million overnight? That's not going to make any sense. I need to know how to consistently manage the $1,000 or the multi-$1,000 that I'm getting in. If I can't manage that, why am I trying to run to become an overnight success?
Right.
That's not possible. So
Right.
building that consistency, being clear, and getting that confidence and building that consistency, that's when that community begins to grow. So don't look to try to do things so quick. I run from that now. I used to do things quick with some of my clients. I used to be like, come to me and I'll rebrand you in a week. We'll do your logo. We'll do your website. We'll do all this stuff. And Camille, can I tell you that within a month or two, I will go back to their stuff and they would have changed it. And I
Mm,
kept saying, dang, was I wrong?
yeah.
And guess where it was? I was wrong because I'm getting ready to try to help a person put something that the world needs. And I'm getting ready to put this thing together in a week. That makes no sense. It takes time to remove the clutter from your brain to be clear about what it is that you've been called to do on this earth. So that's why I say if whatever someone, if you're listening, whatever you're doing, whatever you're trying to do, put out there, make sure that you put time in that equation and that you are clear about who you are and what you're doing so that your audience knows what they're connecting to. And when they know that, they'll be able to trust you. And not only will they trust you, they'll tell somebody else. And because we're friends, if I tell you about a restaurant, you're not going to go research it. You're going to be like, I trust you. We friends. I'm going to go and taste it without even looking it up. That's the best type of marketing still is word of mouth, but that is also undergirded with trust. So be consistent, be disciplined. Even though 6, 7 people are signing on or you're not getting as many likes, keep building that muscle because I promise you it will flip one day. And when it flips, people are going to be like, oh my God, how are you able to handle all of this success? Those times where I wasn't getting what you thought I should have got, I stayed consistent. And I was able to be clear so I wouldn't lose focus when God decided to bless me.
That's good. So going deeper into this messaging and the impact for you, what does that look like as a Black man in the digital space and the impact of messaging? Because we see so many things, whether if it's how men are portrayed with social justice or then being hyper sexualized in this space. And then you look at, for example, in the political space, what that looks like. So for you, how do you navigate all these different narratives being thrown at you? Because I know me as a Black woman, we have things that are thrown at us. So how do you manage that being a digital creator and seeing all the different labels or messaging for Black men in digital spaces?
I don't allow people to put something on me that I don't agree with myself.
Mm.
I know what society says about different things, and I know what sometimes they say what men should do, what men shouldn't do. This is funny, but I remember case in point, if there's 3 stalls in the restroom and they say you go in and you see that you need to leave, I think, a stall open because if there's 2 guys on the ends, you don't want to go in the middle. That's messing up the bro code. I got to tinkle. I got to use the restroom. I'm not going to wait. I'm going to use it and I'm going to let it out because I'm not going to keep that in. I'm not going to allow these social norms that make certain, situations that are really just culturally based on people's insecurities. I'm not going to allow that to stop me from doing what I need to do. And when I think about how they put certain things on us and they create these pictures, I look and say, okay, but do I agree with that for myself? I don't. So if I don't agree with it, I don't subscribe to what they're saying, I then try to magnify more of who I am in that space. Because I believe if I do that, other people will be able to say, wait, I'm not that either. So let me not, be a part of this social norm. Just like they say Black women are the angry Black woman syndrome. I hate that. Just because everybody gets angry or they get displeased about something, let's not build that as a narrative that we want to keep saying. So I don't subscribe to what they try to tell me. And again, I keep making sure that I'm staying true to myself. I'm asking myself the questions, what do I like doing? What makes me happy? What do I feel secure about? Instead of asking other people, how do I look? I look at myself and say, damn, I look good. And I'm going to feel good about it. Whether you like it or not, I'm going to be okay. And I can hear people saying, well, we just can't tell you anything. Well, let's ask ourselves the question. Are you feeling some type of way because I'm just not giving you that sense of control over my life when I'm secure? Maybe that's what it is. Whatever it may be, finding that security in knowing who I am and what I present and what I provide to this earth, I stand true to that and I hold to that. And anything that combats it, I don't throw it away because I'm always trying to say maybe I need to be better in something. But if it causes me to minimize myself or to look down on myself, I refuse it. And I send it back. And sometimes I don't say anything. I just show up and I do something total opposite because sometimes I think actions speak louder than words. So even if I'm quiet, I'm working on something to be able to showcase, hey, this is how I feel about this particular thing.
That's good. I really like that. And then in addition to, excuse me, sorry, my sinuses are draining. Something Rakandius always says, he's like, he learned how to bring himself into the room, all of himself into the room and allow and make everyone else adjust. And I really like that just because we look at the labels of Black masculinity in today's society. And then when you have all this pressure, it makes you angry. So how do you process that anger in today's climate? Because it just seems like you can't express yourself because now you're the angry black man. But then if you do cry, you're soft, and then your orientation is questioned. So it's a catch 22. Like, doggone if I do and doggone if I don't. So how do you as a brother process these feelings again in this type of climate?
Um, there was a book that I read. I think it was the Entrepreneurial Guide to Success or something. And one of the things that he had us to do in chapter two
Hmm.
was to, in our minds, create this utopia of what you want what would be the life that you will want to live every single day.
Right.
And he said, without any reserves, without any holdbacks or anything, he was like, just sit and you begin to think about what are the norms and the things that you want to create to where you have this type of utopia every day.
Hmm.
And I just closed my eyes and I began to just do that. When I opened up my eyes and I kept reading, because I'm an active reader. Like, if I feel like you talking to me, I'm going to talk back to you in the book because, I want us to have that conversation.
Right.
And then he says in the book, he says, now as you have created that, now execute it. Execute what you just saw for your life. What you want your surroundings, your environment, your energy to be. Begin to ensure that you maintain that and you keep that.
Hmm.
And when I begin to do that, I begin to look at everything around me and I begin to say, how does it make me feel? How are you in my space? What gives me joy? Driving, taking trips, going to the movies. What type of food excites me? What things do I like to do? What makes me cry? What doesn't make me cry? When I
Hmm.
feel myself, coming out of character, what do I need to do to keep me at a place of mental peace? What are those things? And when
And
I
what if you
begin
do act
to
out of character because you're human? But it just
correct, if
seems
I
like
act
for
out,
brothers, if you step outside of this line, now all of a sudden you get hit with a strike.
correct, and I believe, like people, I used to tell people, I used to say, cussing somebody out, I see that as a moment of encouragement because sometimes choice words help gets people back in line because you stepped out of line. So if I go off on you, that was not my intentions, but maybe you were that child where your mother say, "Sit down." Okay, sit down, Camille. Camille, sit down, and then you say,
Not
"Sit
Crystal,
your
you got two.
down."
You got two times. That third time, pop. That's it.
It's going
And
there.
she
And
didn't
it's
like to
like,
repeat herself.
right. And you be like, does it take all of that? Well, I told you the first and two times to do it. And maybe it's in that place. So I just look at it as if I do get out of character, hey, it took me there. That was not my intent. And I do try to come back into a settled place, but I just try to remind myself and make sure that what I want to see for my life, that's what I'm indulging in. And
Hmm.
if I am crying, I'm crying, and I'm okay with that. And if people say you're soft, well then fine. If that's what you want to paint me as, that's
Hmm.
totally fine with me. But I get this thing where I say get the spirit of okay, where when people say things that I not necessarily agree with, but that's what they feel, I say, oh, okay, cool. And I keep moving on because
Hmm.
I'm not going to spend time with something or I'm not going to give energy to something that does not give me the best energy that I want for my life. Not going to do it. So I just take it and say, oh, okay. And that keeps me from going off because most of the time I'm going off because I'm trying to make you say something. Unless you step to me and put hands, then it's another story. But I
The
have to
pause.
recognize when they either getting angry or mad because I'm not agreeing with them, or they're trying to persuade me to be or do something that they want. No, I just get the spirit of okay. And when I say okay, it just shuts everything down and I move on because
Mhm.
I'm not going to give that energy to you. I'm just not. Refuse to.
That's really good. One of the things I want to ask you, JT, is going through that space of giving validation to the little boy, and the importance of instilling this validation in our black boys at a young age, and how important that is, because without doing that, how it can alter how you look for validation as a grown black man.
Mm. The validation that I received growing up mostly came from my mother, my grandmother, my great grandparents. My uncles were working going into school. So I really didn't have a lot of male influence
Mhm.
of speaking into me, telling me who I am. Like women, great, but men, not so much.
Mm.
And I probably dealt with a lot of things that I probably would not have had to deal with if I would have had that voice speaking into me.
Mhm.
So I make sure now that every young man, every young kid that I come in contact with, I'm giving them that validation, that support, that encouragement that I didn't get, that I felt that I needed at that time, so that I can believe in myself and be open. I
Mhm.
do know sometimes that we're still living in a world where a lot of men are not present for their children and their kids, but every chance that I can be that for them, I'm going to be that, because I probably did not really fully come into the knowledge of who I was until I went to a church here and set up under a pastor. Shout out to Pastor Brown, that helped me really come into that place. That was my first interaction with a man older that didn't want anything from me, just wanted to pour into me,
Yeah.
and it felt weird because I'm like, why are you encouraging me? Why are you pouring into me? Okay, what do you want? Do you need
Mm.
something? Is this a transaction? What is this? And it was like, no, I'm here to build you up.
Mhm.
Okay, but what do you want? I don't want anything. I want to see you better. I want to see you come into form. And that's when I really started sitting into that place. So I think it's very important. And for the women that have sons and don't have, a father there, get connected to units where you get solid men that can pour into those young boys to validate themselves. Because I do think when we're not validated, we allow anything and everything, to come into us, and we get confused with who we are. And
Mhm.
I don't want that to happen.
I think that's really good. And then going back into how that impacts you as a creative, because if you've experienced distrust throughout your life, when you start looking for your own voice, it will make you question what you're hearing, or it will make
Mm-hmm.
you not as confident or show up as you should, because this theme of distrust and lack of validation, um it trickles through out your different chapters of life. So now you get to this
Mm-hmm.
place where you're being a creative and you're putting out a narrative, and then you're like, well, should I do this, or am I really making an impact, or maybe I should do something. Like, you start kind of overthinking, you start over
Mm-hmm.
analyzing, and you begin to nitpick at yourself. So can
Mm-hmm.
you kind of
Mm-hmm.
touch on that a little bit more, JT?
Yeah. And you hit it on the head about what you're being told. Because if the right thing is not being poured into you, that leaves room for the wrong thing,
Hmm.
because something has to be told. And when you're not getting that validation, you begin to create your own story. And truth being told, your own story probably won't be the story of uplifting and fulfillment. It's going to be, I'm probably not getting this because of this, because of that. And like you said,
Hmm.
you begin to doubt yourself. And when you begin to doubt yourself, all of the superpowers, all of the giftings and the change and the favor that's on your life, it cannot be activated to produce in this earth, because you don't even believe in yourself. This is a figurative man, but I'm just using him as an example. What if
Right.
Superman questioned himself?
Mm.
If let's take that, what did the Black Panther question his abilities to be able to produce? Where would, say, these cartoons be able to? What if Barack questioned his abilities of what he could produce, what he could provide to this earth? So I say, don't question yourself. You have to, if you're not spending, hear me, if you're not spending time with yourself, how can you really build up yourself and know what you should be around, what you should be doing, who
Mhm.
should be in your life, what you should be expanding? What you have to spend time with yourself. Don't think that if I get connected to someone, that person will be the only sole way that I'm going to be able to identify. No, here's the thing. The pastor that I'm connected with, the people, they poured into me. That was great. But I still
Mhm.
had to take what they said and sit with myself to even say, do I agree with it? Can I see it being true? Oh, I do. Well, if that's the case, I need to start walking in that thing. So you
Mhm.
need to take time to be with yourself. And I think a lot of people, they get nervous being with themselves because we don't like to be in a place of silence, and we
Or
don't
you
like to
start
be.
hearing your thoughts are louder when you're by yourself. One of the things I've loved during this time, I've pulled back from a lot of different spaces, is because I needed to filter through my thought pattern and being able to be accustomed to my own sound.
Mm-hmm.
And when I would have a rough day and the thought, and I'm like, no, 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 we're not doing this today. And then you can
Right.
catch it because you can recognize it's like when you're driving a car and you're doing a road trip and you veer off and you hit it. It's like, come
Yep.
on, pull
Yep.
back.
Yep.
And
Yep.
so when you're in a space and you can actually hear the tones of your inner voice, when you
Mm-hmm.
get a, then you know how to pull back. And right
Right.
now I'm in a space where I've been quieter and
Mm-hmm.
being able to decipher, okay, that's not it. Let's put that out. Let's replace it, and try
Mm-hmm.
and really retraining my mind and going, okay, who am I really? What is my true sound? And it's
Yeah.
like taking the wheels off the bike and learning that voice. And now it's like, oh,
Yeah.
I had a phone call with someone a couple weeks ago from back home, and we haven't talked since last summer, and they said
Mm-hmm.
you sound different. They were like, "There's a strength in your voice," and they were like, "You sound different."
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "Really?" And they were like, "Yeah, I can hear it. I can hear it in your voice." So when you do that and you talk to someone that you haven't spoken to, you might not hear it, but I
Yeah.
guarantee you, who you are right now, JT, go back and find somebody you haven't spoken to in 5 years and have a conversation. They're like,
Yeah.
JT, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And so I
Yeah.
think that's very important. We get so
And
busy,
what
we
you're
wanna
pouring
be on
into
social media.
yourself.
Yeah, social media and
Mm-hmm.
always, and I've learned, like, in this season, pull back. And being
Mm-hmm.
in this space where I've been quieter, I'm like, "Oh, wow." Because now I can
Mm-hmm.
hear certain things. I'm like, "No, that we gotta throw that out. Now we have to
Yeah.
put this
Yeah.
back." And it's a good time for me right now. So
Yeah, yeah. And when you say you're veering off and you're going back into that place, it could be also because you are empty, because you've poured out so much and you're not allowing the right things to be poured back into you. But if
mhm,
you're able to veer off and come back, that means you do have something inside of you that knows that, hey, I'm recognizing I'm not on that path. Let me get back on that path. So I encourage people to if you're a Christian, we connect with the Word of God. We identify with what He said about ourselves. If you're not a Christian, whatever it is, the point remains: you need to be filled with positive saying, positive things about who you are, what you're able to do. That's going to build you up. And if you can't do it yourself yet, yes, find those people that can pour into you, that can give you and open up that door to really allow you to see yourselves. And once they start pouring you up and you start building, take that time with yourself so you can identify where you start drifting off, where those little pockets and those black holes are, so you can go and refill those, so that when you're going on that path again, guess what? It won't be able to overtake you because you've been filled with the right things. And I think that's where a lot of people may be right now, that don't think or can't see you're empty, or you've been drained from the ones that have tried to drain life out of you, because you either been used, they've seen greatness but they see how it's going to benefit themselves. Whatever it may be, check your circle, check what you're watching, check what you're reading, check what you're scrolling through, and make sure that even if you need to say the next 30 days, if it's not positive, don't call me. If it's not something that's going to build me up, don't text me. If it's not something I'm not going to go watch it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not saying that's my entire life, but I am saying if I need to be better, everything around me that comes in contact with me has to be better. And
yes.
if it's not, chill for a minute, and it's okay to tell them no. It's okay to cut off, because I would rather be in a great mental space when I'm living this life than trying to be empty to please you. I ain't
Mhm.
got time for that. Pour
Yeah.
into yourself and make sure the people that are around you, that you're even pouring out to. I tell people, I use this analogy before, that when you think about a bowl and you think about a strainer, they both have the same shape, and they both, I'm saying, are used for, sometimes with cooking, but there's only one of them can give you back what you give it. And
Mhm.
a lot of times, if you look at the strainer, it's the shape of a bowl, but it already has holes. And sometimes when people come to you, they're coming with holes, and you try your best to overlook that they got holes, and you keep wondering why you're empty, but you keep pouring out. And they're not pouring back in because they don't have a repertoire to give you what you give back. So check your friends. Are they
Yeah.
strainers? Are they bowls? Can they
Yeah.
give you back what you give to them? And if they're not, chill as you're trying to build yourself up so that you can be your best self in the end.
Yeah. I always like to use the analogy. It's like a boat. Um, we're rowing somewhere, right? But
Mm-hmm.
if you wonder, like, well, shouldn't we be further along on this lake?
Mm-hmm.
But then you look back and this joker poking holes in the boat, and it's like, wait a minute, you
Bro, what you doing? We
and it's
trying to go
like,
somewhere.
yeah, and it's just like, you have to realize, Kira shared, she was talking one time on the Breakfast Club, and she was talking about her book, and she was like, people, I think she used the analogy, they're either a drain or a fountain, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like, are you here to refresh me, or are you emptying me out?
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was really good because when you're
Yeah.
looking around who's around you, um, there's some people I step back from because it seemed like every time they would call me, they wanted me to encourage, or they
Yeah.
wanted, and but it was never reciprocated. And when I needed them, I'm busy, I call you back, or not available. And I'm like, that's not fair. You're always pulling in, I'm praying for you and giving you words of encouragement and pulling. And I felt drained every time I got off the phone. And then I was like, why do I keep doing this?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
when I started really digging into why I was doing it, and I had that, as Oprah says, that aha moment and that epiphany,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, no, we're not,
Yeah.
no, no. And so and now I've learned that B word, boundaries. And at some point in seeing the phone ring, I'm like, I don't have the capacity for this today. Not today. I don't have the capacity for it today.
Yeah. Yeah. One
And
of my
putting those, yeah, girl, we haven't heard from
one
you.
one of my
Everything is
friends
fine, but right now, I can't today. I'm sorry.
one of my friends, we talked today, and she said something and just reminded me that I have to do the same. Things are shifting in her life.
Mhm.
Things are growing, and she's starting to really step out and join different groups, Facebook groups of like-minded things, to see and find people that are like-minded to what she's getting ready to do. And I was like, that's so good, because when God begins to elevate you and begins to put you in that season where you are getting ready to ride, you cannot have the people around you that are going to be pulling from you, that are not like-minded, that cannot rock with you. You're not going to be able to really maintain in that space. You're going to have to find people that can really fuel you. And sometimes it's going to require us to get out of our comfort zone and go find other sections of people that are doing what we need to do. And now she's getting people that are calling her saying, hey, we look like we're going to be cool. Girl, let's go hang out. Oh, wow. You don't have to initiate it. No, I'm going to do it.
Mhm.
And she's starting to build from that. So I really think in the space that some of us, we don't want to feel like we want to give up that person
Mhm.
or change that dynamic because we think there's nobody else out there that's going to get us. No, there are 7.7 billion people, I think, on this earth. There was
Yeah.
enough people that will connect. Take the time to go and find research and see who they are, just so that you can get what you need and you don't find roadblocks and speed bumps in your life because you wouldn't let them go when you're trying to ride on this wave of glory for your life in that moment. No,
Yeah.
because that's one of the quickest ways for the enemy to slow us down. Is not just us, but it's the people that surround us.
That's really good. And I also believe, as we begin to wrap up, that we spend a lot of time riding and dying for people that have made us crash.
Come on, Camille. Come on. I've
Get
got
out,
injuries from the crash,
get
and
out
I'm
of the
about to get back
car.
in the car with you.
Get out of
Okay.
the car. Get an Uber. Oh,
No, you can't drive. Can you take me around? No, I'll walk. I'm gonna walk. I'm gonna
yeah,
walk. I ain't even gonna take that chance.
I absolutely love it. So, man, it seems like it seems like this time went by so fast. We're gonna have to
Yes.
do a part two on this
Yeah.
conversation. Um, I might get you on Heart and Soul.
Come
Um,
on. I got heart, I got soul.
you sure do. But with that being said, I do want to kind of wrap things up and for you to drop some gems as far as takeaways or nuggets for the viewers and listeners until I bring you back again. And then also where people can contact you on social media.
Awesome. So two things. One, don't allow your past experiences to hinder your future expectations.
Hmm.
Whatever you want from your future, go in and get it. Just because somebody else had a bad experience doesn't mean that's going to happen to you. Go and get what you want
Hmm.
and have the expectation that you're going to get it. And the second thing is, and I stated the 4 C's that I encourage people to move through when you're getting ready to launch your business, when you're getting ready to do an event, when you're getting ready to take a leap into something.
Hmm.
Make sure that you have clarity, because once you get clarity, you're able to build confidence within yourself. And when you get that confidence, it'll then produce consistency. And when you're consistent, your people will come to you and you'll be able to grow your community. And
Hmm.
that is a proven result that people that have landed and have grown that are still here, they were clear, they got confident in it, they begin to be consistent, and then it built their community.
Hmm.
So you can follow me on Instagram, Facebook. I am JaiTee. Before the month is out, we will be putting everything out there that we've been doing so people can really start connecting so that we can grow this work and
Okay.
push. So if you're trying to start a business or you need a brand identity session, you need to figure out what you want to do first, hit me up so we can sit down, take a couple of weeks, and flesh out some of the things that you've been told, redirect you to put you on the right path so
Hmm.
that you can give this earth what it's been looking for.
That's really good. And if there's something you have going on, like an event, let me know. I'll push it. We can get you
Yes,
on
yes,
because I
yes.
rock with you.
Come on.
Heavy.
Y'all, Camille will get on the road and come down. So I appreciate you for the support. Thank you for having me and keep providing an outlet and a space for Black men for us to speak, to talk. Because, like we said, there always so much for women, but when it comes to men, it is a little spotty. But I appreciate you for this opportunity and connection and look forward to next time.
I love y'all in real life. I do. I adore the brothers.
Come on.
I got a problem.
I got an addiction, huh?
Oh,
Oh, he said clear, confident. So clear, confidence, consistency, and community.
yes, yes. And I also want to drop this nugget, and maybe we can pick this up when you come back. If my
Mhm.
brain doesn't forget, as far as and this is kind of a teaser for maybe another conversation. As far as in relationships, expecting people to fix us, and then we get frustrated and get mad when they don't.
Mm, mm, mm,
Yeah, I'm gonna
mm.
let y'all let that roll around until the next conversation.
Because they cannot, people of God. Oh,
Thank
I'm
you,
sorry.
not.
Let me shut up. Yeah.
That's all good. It's all good. But with that being said, I hope you all got something from this conversation. Um, what did he say? What did he say?
You're talking the talk.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Well, they be saying in church, you walking heavy.
Walking heavy, walking heavy. I remember I preached, and this happens a lot when I preach and I choose to preach. They'd be like, "Oh, this word was so rich," and I'm like, "Well, let it be my bank account, okay? Take all of that and put it in the bank account, so I can not only give y'all rich words, I can live a rich life, huh?"
Mm-mm. Then our hearts not burn.
Come on, light it up, light it up.
Oh my goodness. Well, that being said, everybody, it's your girl Camille Essick. I'm host of the Speaker Podcast. Be sure to follow me on Instagram at Camille.Essick, and I'm also on YouTube at Camille Essick Official. If you have not already done so, I need you to hit that notification bell, subscribe. I am working to build my YouTube channel. He said and did.
And did.
So do that. Also, Good Black Men Official, the merchandise is out there. You can also use the coupon code GBM15. That way you can save 15% at the checkout. Just go to gbmofficial.com and follow us on Instagram at Good Black Men Official, as well as Chemistry Room Fragrances on Instagram and on the web at www.chemistryroomfragrances.com. Again, JT, thank you so much. I have thoroughly enjoyed this conversation, and you all have a blessed night. Peace. Hold on,
Bless.
JT. All right.
All right.